Oh, wow. Good morning, everyone. My heart is just full seeing all of your faces out there. My name is Ann Hudgens, and I'm currently serving as the president of the Unity Council. And we're currently experiencing some transition in the church, so we're between ministers. We said farewell to our Reverends Liz and Divine last week, and update news from them is that Divine has an interview in her own church. She's more attracted to the Centers for Spiritual Living, and Liz has an interview in a Unity church, so they're moving forward with their dream of each of them having their own ministry. So that is coming close to fruition for them. So last week we had a farewell service for them and blessed them and sent them off to their next adventure. And so today is the beginning of our new adventure. So I remember when I was in high school that I was just coming to want spiritual quips in my life. So I remember it being very important to me at one point when somebody said, you know, today is the first day of the rest of your lives. So today is the first day of the rest of our lives in Unity Fort Collins. So we'll see what happens from here. It'll be exciting. Want to give you a couple of update announcement kinds of things from the council. Today, we're excited to have Reverend Jim Yaw and Reverend Sharon Bush. I made up Sharon's name in my head, and I'm having trouble replacing it with the correct one, Sharon Bush, who will be working with us today, and then Reverend Sharon will be speaking not next week, but the following week. So we'll get to see the duo in action 3 weeks apart. Next week, we're having our own Leanne Gable talking about transition. And she's brought back her famous transition talk. And if you know Leanne, you would know that she's got a tattoo on her arm that says, "Trust the process." So next week, we're going to have an opportunity to trust the process. So Leanne will do the talking next week, and we're going to have an all-community meeting from about 11:15 to 1. We would normally serve lunch if we were doing that, but there's a county-wide mask mandate, so we can't eat together inside. So we'll be done no later than 1. But what we'll be inviting folks to do is we'll be meeting in small groups, and we'll be talking together about what's important to you, what does the future hold, what makes this place resonate as your spiritual home. So we'll have conversations with each other, and we'll work together to envision what's the future of Unity of Fort Collins. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I had the good fortune of being able to stand by the door and greet people, so there are some faces I haven't seen in a long time. Welcome back with all my heart. And I had a chance to meet some new folks who have been with us for a short time, some for their second time, some who have been coming through the summer. And whatever brought you to Unity of Fort Collins, I remember the sweetness of finding unity in my own life and experience. There's something that's so freeing about finding a spiritual home where there's not a dogma that one has to attach oneself to. So we welcome all spiritual paths at Unity of Fort Collins, and we welcome you wherever you are on your journey. And so we're pleased you're here, and trust that Unity of Fort Collins has weathered many transitions, so to be temporarily in between ministers is no big deal, and we will continue to move forward. We've got tons of wisdom in the community, lots of possibilities for guest speakers. We've got all kinds of options. So hang with us and bring your voice to the community meeting next week. We'll be excited to see lots of folks there. All right, so let's all take a deep breath. Oh, actually, one other thing I wanted to say is that we've got a vibrant kids program. So the little ones are in the back, and our kids program is growing. And I said this morning that my husband Robert and I met at Unity in 1987, and our kids went through the kids program here in the preschool. And so one of the things that we say to each other when people are having a hard time in life is that they must not have had a Unity preschool experience. And so there's something very sweet about kids growing up in a kids community where they learn that they're part of the divine and that love is all there is, and they can connect with the God within themselves as youngsters. So if you have kids, we've got we welcome them, and the kids program is a beautiful thing at Unity. All right. If you would all take a deep breath for me, and we'll center together. The Unity blessing. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. All right.
Love is real, real is love. Love is feeling, feeling love. Love is wanting to be loved. Love is touch, touch is love. Love is reaching, reaching love. Love is asking to be loved. Love is you, you and me. Love is knowing we can be. Love is free, free is love. Love is living, living love. Love is needing to be loved. Love is you, you and me. Love is knowing we can be. Love is free, free is love. Love is living, living love. Love is needing to be loved.
Unity, we welcome the spiritual teachings from many traditions. And the readings will come from, would be welcome from any tradition. But today I found one in the Daily Word, the Unity meditation book that seemed just right for today. So it says, with eagerness, we begin again. There is an impulse in our souls that calls us higher, encouraging us to reach for new heights and seek new experiences. Today, we answer the call of our hearts. The mere act of getting started leads us into an exhilarating, fresh new energy that quells any fear or hesitancy that has held us back. We have everything we need within us. The zeal, imagination, and strength of God are all part of our spiritual identity, forever ours, to call upon as we begin every new endeavor, no matter how great or small. We seize each day, bringing our whole heart and mind to all that we do. We begin with passion and determination, living from our divinity, the Christ within. We can be and do even more than we ever imagined, as soon as we begin again.
So today's about change, and when I looked it up, this song was the #1 song about change. It's got to be Al's favorite song. Took my love, took it down. Climbed a mountain and it turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Cause I built my life around you, but time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you, time makes you bolder. Even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring me down. Oh, if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring me down. Oh, the landslide will bring me down.
Well, good morning. Wow. You are so blessed as a congregation. With music, L and L, L and L. Wow. And here you are in beautiful Fort Collins this morning, and I am so excited about being here. I can hardly wait to say something to you. Where do I start? Where do I start? I've been doing a lot of thinking about this message to you this morning. And I think what I'm going to do is start with some pretty basic unity stuff. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the fact that we need to get acquainted. And we need to be on the same page, the same channel, the same place. And I don't know if you've ever experienced unity teachings or been in a unity class, or maybe you haven't. One of the biggest differences between Orthodox Christianity or Roman Catholic Christianity or Protestant Christianity is the fact that we have a different viewpoint about you. That's right, the person behind the mask, you know. The person behind the mask, behind the personality. There's something called the human soul. If you go all the way back to Genesis, you're going to see where God breathed into humankind and you became a human soul. Now that's not history. You are a living, breathing soul that is the expression of God today. God is breathing you. You are it. You have all the attributes, you have all the capability of everything that God is. Because right now where you sit, right now, you are the place where God shows up. So there's nothing wrong with the world and nothing wrong with you. You are that place where God shows up. You have all those capabilities of God, your pure energy. You were never born, you will never die, because energy is never created, is never extinguished. So you're pure energy. I happen to understand that Lil had a birthday this week, or today's her birthday? Today? Yeah. Well, you know, when you celebrate your birthday, sometimes we worry about gosh, I'm another day older, or another year older, or another decade older. It's not necessary to become concerned because you are eternal. You are never another day older, another year older, another 100 years older, because you are eternal. You've always existed in an energy form. Of course, on the other hand, that makes you old in the dirt. So that's the very first basic thing about unity teachings is you are divine, you are energy, you are where God shows up. You are it. So how's that for a positive message? Can't get any more positive than that. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit more about your soul being. Did you know that your soul has a plan? All right? Your soul has a plan. And you created that plan. Now, many of you may have had other spiritual teachings that say that God's created a plan for your life. It isn't so. You came here, you took on birth. You took on incarnation, is the technical term. You took on birth here, and you came here with a plan for your life. You know, teachers have a plan. They've got a lesson plan, right? Well, you've got a plan. And you know what that plan is? It's to practice being the presence of God. Practice all those God qualities, like love and joy and peace. So it's like coming here and putting on training wheels. You're here just to practice. There's no need to change anything. There's no need to seek anything. There's no longer any need to be anything. And certainly there's no need to be saved from anything. All right? And you know what? Yay! Good. Good. It's all right for you to say amen or whatever you want to say here. Yeah. And you know what? The sun, the moon, the stars, whether they're in alignment or not in alignment with the planets, all of that is what you believe. But none of it affects you because you've got a plan to come here, to be incarnated, to practice being that God presence on this planet. Well, I'll tell you about something else about your soul. You don't have a soul, you are a soul. All right? And that soul has a voice. Have you listened to your soul voice recently? If you let it be, it's a guiding compass for your life. And that soul voice is always there, always talking to you. And the thing that we need to do in our spiritual practice is we need to learn how to listen and hear our soul voice. Because that soul voice is always talking about good things. It's always talking about the blessings in life. This is a win-win universe. And you've got some voice that is saying other things, criticizing you. That's not your soul voice. That's an imposter. All right? Sometimes we don't listen very well. And I'm going to go back to the Hebrew scriptures. And there was once a man named Moses. And he was out one day doing what he does, just like we do what we do every day. He was shepherding the sheep, right? Very engaged in that process of shepherding the sheep. Well, something needed to get his attention. So he looks over there and there's a bush burning, but it's not consumed. So you see, your soul works in many ways to get your attention. To get your attention. And that attention can come through friends, it can come through a partner of yours, it could come through an advertisement on television. But that soul voice is always trying to get your attention, always trying to talk to you, always trying to engage you. Well, our spiritual practice is learning how to listen to that soul voice. And then, you know, we have these things called obstacles or difficulties that come into life. And there's a whole study of theology. It's very interesting. Why does bad things happen to good people? It's because it's in the plan. It's in the plan. And when bad things happen to us, then what we need to do is learn how to react. And I'm still learning. It's the reason I do what I'm doing, is because I react, and then I think, what I really need to do is throw a little more love into this situation. Throw a little more love. And so these obstacles, I'm going to stop calling them obstacles, though. I'm going to call them opportunities. These opportunities come along, and they keep on coming along, and I've met several of them more than once in my life. They just come along, and we have an opportunity to respond. Respond as God would respond. Respond with love and joy and peace and all those qualities of life. I'm going to tell you a couple of things about me. Sometimes I forget. Is that right, Sharon? And the other thing about me is I sometimes get so engaged in something that I get so consumed by it that I'm single-minded, and I forget that I've got that soul voice that's warning me and telling me and talking to me and blessing me and encouraging me. But I stick with a plan, my plan. I'm not talking about my soul's plan, my plan. And I get engaged and I get so consumed that you can't drag me away. And sometimes I stay in relationships or situations or whatever I'm engaged in. I should have said adios long ago. And sometimes that's a quality that's good. You might say it's loyalty. I tell you, Moses had a burning bush. I've got a Sharon bush. She really calls my attention to situations in my life. Let me give you a couple of examples. I'm going to travel with you back to the year 2005. I used to be a Southern Baptist pastor. I'll tell you that story sometime, but in 2005, I had left the ministry, and I was in Folsom, California, not the prison. I was down the street from the prison, all right? And life was good. I was the top producer, see? Remember what I told you about me being dedicated and going after it and had to be the most, the best of everything? And, well, I had good money coming in, married to Sharon, and one day she comes walking in the door from her job down at the hospital as a hospital chaplain, and she says, I think I'm going to move to Missouri and become a Unity minister. Threw a monkey wrench into my whole life, virtually, because I said to her, I said, and what am I going to do? And she says, anything you want to do. So Sharon was that individual that brought my attention back to my soul plan. So I went to that still small voice within, and I was led to go back with Sharon to apply to the Unity Seminary in Unity Village, Missouri, and go back into ministry. Well, it's unusual for two individuals married to be accepted in the seminary at one time. But you know what? When you're following your soul plan, things become easy. Doors open or doors close. Things happen. We're both accepted. Well, probably the biggest transition that I ever experienced as an individual is leaving the ministry in Sun City, Arizona. Sharon and I, as a congregation, about 400 people, we were very engaged in classes and lessons well attended, and I had a lot of heart connection with so many of the people there. But you just leave suddenly from a ministry where you feel as a part of that family was probably the biggest transition that I've ever made. But you know, again, Sharon was the one that pointed the way. And ministers need to move on at times for the good of the congregation as well as themselves. At the end of every ending, there's always a void. And in that void, which I've been subjected to over the past couple of years, there's so many people today, they're in a void. You know, the pandemic has caused a void in so many lives. But that void is part of the plan. And during this void, I learned more things about myself than I would have otherwise staying in that ministry in Sun City, Arizona. For instance, I learned to identify myself as that place where God shows up, as that soul, as that presence of God, rather than Jim, Dr. Jim, or Reverend Jim, the minister, because that was my identity. And so it's good to drop the outside identities and begin to think of ourselves as that soul presence on this planet that is learning to be more like God. Apply the principles of love and peace and joy to our lives rather than being so busy. So sometimes we get lost, and that void becomes like a wilderness. Another example from Moses' life. Here Moses and those Israelites were wandering around the desert, the story goes. 40 years, it says. Well, you know that word 40 in that paragraph is not meant to be taken literally. It really means as long as it takes. So we go through that void as long as it takes. As long as it takes to learn that lesson that our soul has for us. So maybe you've been in a void during this time of pandemic. You're not able to carry forth. You're not able to be here in this congregation on Sundays. So how do you learn about your soul journey? The book of James in the Bible. It's in the Bible, not me, not James me. All right? James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, what do you do? Do you know that verse? If any of you lack wisdom, ask and it will be given to you. So it tells us to ask our soul, talk to our soul. Let me give you 4 suggested questions you might ask. What does my soul say to me right now? What would my soul have me do? In all honesty, what does my soul desire? Or what does my soul require? Your soul will answer. And that answer will come. I've found it in the most miraculous ways. When I ask, it shows up. If I ask, what should I talk about on Sunday? It shows up. Not always where I expected. When you're dealing with your soul, I like to mention about 5 things to be careful of. The very first thing is something called FUD. Have you ever heard of FUD? It's not a soap. Okay? FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you have fear, uncertainty, or doubt in your life, it's something that's being said to you that you need to examine and look at. Because children of God, expressions of God, do not have fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I'm still working on it. Yesterday, some doubt came into mind whether this was the appropriate lesson for this congregation today. Second thing, if your soul is leading you to something in life, and if you hear something saying that you're not adequate for it, don't believe it. Your soul will never call you to something that you're inadequate for. You're totally adequate even if you don't think you are. You're always adequate when your soul voice is involved. But on the other hand, you might want to make sure that it is really your soul voice and not your ego voice or some other voice that's talking. Because suppose you're lonely, and so you rush into a relationship, but you're not ready for that yet. Guess what? You'll end up with a different partner, same dance. Do you know what I mean? Same dance, different partner. That includes things like your job or occupation. You go changing jobs. If it's not the job for you, you'll end up in the same situation as with your last employer. And the next thing, number 4, I would say, is be sure to find and study and apply unity principles. There's a whole lot of them, and I won't dare discuss it here this morning. But take a unity class. There's plenty of them available, unity principles. I'll give you just one of them. Nothing and no one outside yourself will bring you happiness. If you're searching for happiness, it's not out there somewhere. It's in here. And the 5th thing I would say to you about your soul voice is make sure of your source. You know, I've got about 2,000-3,000 books. And sometimes I used to, especially if I had a question, I'd go and find a book that some author had written a message about. Your source is not your books. It's not your minister. It's not your counselor. It's not your friend. What is your source? Your soul voice, God, the presence within you, the wisdom within you. You have everything. You have all the wisdom that's needed, regardless of circumstance. I think I'm going to talk a minute about Moses. This is a little translation of a verse in Exodus. So God says, Moses, I've heard of all the suffering of the people down in Egypt land. And Moses says, I know, I was there, and they're suffering so much. It is so sad. God says, by the way, why am I using God as a voice like this? Maybe God is a feminine voice. Maybe it's like that voice on my GPS. And at times I have to listen to it say recalculating. So, God says, we're going to do something about it. And Moses, wait a minute. I've chosen you. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to demand that he let my people go. Wait a minute. Moses, me? You're sending me? I don't want to go. I won't know what to say. You see, this man Moses, this great spiritual leader of the Israelites, what is he continually doing? He's making excuses. Right? His soul voice is talking. And then he makes excuses. I won't know what to say. And God says, you'll have Aaron. You'll have your community, right, to help you. Aaron will help you speak to Pharaoh. But I don't even know your name. They will not take me seriously if they don't know your name. Another excuse. And then God says, I am that I am. That is the name that you will give them. You'll say, I have been sent by I am as I am. So as Reverend Sharon comes up and we prepare for meditation, I'd just like to ask you a couple of closing questions and give you one more quotation I'd like to share with you. Have you thought about it? About your voice of your soul? What is your soul voice saying to you today? And I believe there might be some of you that might have fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Some of you might be called to a higher purpose. There just might be some of you that, like Moses, are being called to speak out to circumstances and situations in the world today. Your soul voice is talking. And are you really sure? Can you really embody the principle of I am that I am, and that I am is you? So I'd like to read just one final quotation as I close. This quotation is Anton St. Martin is the name of the individual. And he says, finding your life purpose is not about becoming someone different or chasing after something better. You're aligned with your true purpose when you finally recognize your inner being and accept who you truly are. Did you get that? Accept who you truly are. So God bless you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and share with you today. Reverend Sharon?
So I just invite you in this time of prayer and meditation to be still. To say in your mind, peace, peace be still. To say to your body, peace, peace be still. And to say to your inner spirit, peace, peace be still. We are one. All of us together are one. One presence, one power. Expressing our light in many different ways. We're one with God. We're one with each other. We're one with the plants, one with the flowers. We are divine expressions. And so when we're still, when we take the time to go within and listen, we find that stillness that's undescribable, that peace, that comfort, that knowing what is ours to do. So I invite you to go into the silence, and in that silence, listen to Spirit. What is yours to do at this point in your life? Where are you being called to take your candle into the darkness? We listen in the silence. And so we are grateful. Grateful from the deepest part of our souls that at any time and in any place we can turn within and say, Spirit, what is mine to do in this situation? What gift do I bring to the people around me? How am I a blessing to others? For we know when we bless others, we are blessed. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
After the rain, after all my tears have finally fallen, I can see a brand new sun come dawning. How long it's been, I'm free again. After the rain, I'm in the rain, feels like this pain after the rain. Rain, 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 fall on me. Rain, 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 wash me clean. I'll soon be free from all of this pain after the rain. After the rain, well, I can feel a spirit finally rising. I can feel a brand new sun come shining. What do I see? But that it shines on me after the rain. Rain, 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 fall on me. Rain, 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 wash me clean. I'll soon be free from all of this pain after the rain. Oh, oh, rain. Don't let it rain. Oh, rain. Don't let it rain. But if I take the joy, then I got to take the pain. If I'm gonna take the sun, then I got to take the rain. If I'm gonna live this life, there are gonna be some hard times. Oh, rain after the rain.
Amazing. How can some people have such talent? Wow. Thank you. Well, we come to the time in our service where we're time to collect the offering, but we don't have anyone to pass baskets. They're located here in the sanctuary. So if you would support what you love, feed what you love, which includes this ministry. So let's say our offering blessing together. I think you know it. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So I think, is there anything, Ann, that you want to add to this before we circle up here in a second?
One thing.
All right. Let me get out of your way here.
Don't go far.
I won't.
Sounds good. We forgot to acknowledge the folks online. So I'm looking into the camera right there, and I'm pretending that I can see you with my heart. So next week, you will have your own Zoom group, so you can join us. So please do that. And we'll say the prayer of protection together.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and circle up, and then we'll say the prayer of protection and then the peace song. I'll add one thing. If any of you are interested in a printed copy of today's message, I can send it to you, but if you give me your email address, we'll do that, okay? All right. So, together, the light of God surrounds us. We are that light. The love of God enfolds us. We are that love. The power of God protects us. We are that power. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that